Happy Thursday and welcome back to the You Good Podcast, the podcast where oversharing is encouraged and the thoughts get real. I'm your host, C-Rod, joined as always by my co-host, Kenny Powers. There is a point in life where everything shifts without you really noticing it at first. You go from having time for everything, every plan, every person, every night out. I'm probably really alluding to your younger years, the 20s, college, to suddenly realizing your time, your energy, and your attention aren't unlimited anymore. Once that happens, you don't just change what you do, you start changing who you keep around. Today's episode is about how life gets smaller, more intentional, and a lot more real, whether you're ready for it or not. Welcome to episode 43. You don't have time for everyone anymore. Let's get into it. Kenny Powers, tell me about it. What's don't tell me about it. I know about it. Tell the lovely guests who are looking in at you with this new do for the first time. Why?
I got some braids.
Clearly.
To go to a wedding on Saturday, this past Saturday. Jess was in town, so I didn't want my flowing locks like I normally have. So it's been a thing too that I've got my hair braided for weddings, so
Yeah.
I just kept the tradition alive.
I like it. It suits you well. You do look like Kenny Powers. I'm sure you've heard that a ton.
Yeah,
But
well,
it fits you in a weird way. It looks good.
La Flama Blanca.
La Flama Blanca. Speaking of baseball, which we are going to get into here, you can see that I'm rocking the New York jersey, the New York Bronx Bombers hats, and although the Yankees suck, there will be a rhyme and reason to it. But today's guest is somebody from college. Her name is Michelle Hamm, and this is a funny one because we didn't grow up right together, but for a solid stretch in college, we were basically attached to the hip, or quite literally handcuffed together, which we will talk about. But our relationship has basically been built on years and years of talking shit to each other, right? But still showing up and still dealing with each other. I would say that our last 7 birthday posts for each other are just, oh, we made it through another year of knowing each other. And we've been through a lot of the same chaos, a lot of nights out in college that we both probably don't fully remember, but whether it's through life-changing, moving, having kids, relationships, whatever, we have stayed super close, which I think, we've talked about says a lot more than anything, especially in today's world and the network that we keep. So without further ado, I know this one will be interesting, but Michelle Hambone, going ham, welcome to the You Good Podcast. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, no problem. I'm excited. I've been excited since you asked me months ago.
I have been waiting to bring you on. A lot of people that know me from college will be very familiar with you. Nick, I think a lot of the times we've had, college people come on, it's always been like, oh, somebody you've known forever and all of these things. And we'll talk about this a little bit more. But I feel like mine and Michelle's relationship has been very different, where this won't really be catching up with somebody, who I haven't seen in 10 plus years, because we've both made that effort to stay in each other's lives, even as recently as the other weekend, my whole family, my mom and dad included, going out to Orlando, to meet her son, her fiance, and just, it's that kind of relationship that we're
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, very, very close, even though he left me years and years and years ago to go to Tampa, but it's okay. I forgive you.
We'll talk about that too. Stay tuned.
You left us all.
I left you in 2007.
I know, you left us all.
20 years ago. Get over it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Before we get into anything here, I want to start with what we do on a weekly basis, which is the mental health rotational opener. And Michelle, if you have seen or heard the mental openers, it is rotating, and today is going to be song on repeat. This is Nick's favorite, but I will let you go first. And basically give me a song that maybe you've been listening to recently in the last week or so that has just elevated your mood or has been something meaningful to you that has kept your spirits up.
I wouldn't say that there's one specific song. It's a whole playlist.
Okay.
And
What kind of
something that I
playlist?
listen to with my son all the time, it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Rock Star. It's actually really, really cool
Nice.
though. It's nice and like there's lullabies, but it's all really, really good music. It's just all instrumental, but then you'll hear like that little bit of a chirp, like that calming chirp in the background. Not a scary chirp. Or like little frogs ribbiting in the back. And every song is great. Because then you sit there and you think like there's Kanye songs that are on there. There's all these different things where you're like, I know that, but I don't want to
Yeah.
look at the title to see exactly what that is.
And so these are songs that we know, rap songs, rock songs, but in instrumental form.
Yep.
Oh.
All meant for babies.
Nice. That's awesome.
And to preface this, she has a 6-month-old, 7-month-old,
He
8-month-old.
just turned 8 months.
Just had his 8-month-old. So she is a new mom, 8-month-old child, and that's why she is choosing to listen to lullabies.
Yeah.
Got to do it for the kids.
There you go.
Until you get to the age where you say fuck them kids, but that's not right now. 8 months, you're still loving
I
them.
know. I'm kind of hoping that a lot of people start to listen to that.
Yeah. Well, we
There you
will
go.
suggest that and put that out there.
Perfect.
Our massive following of
Hundreds of people.
Nick, how about you, brother? Give me your favorite song on repeat for your favorite.
It's gonna surprise you because it's old or older, but it's not just a single song, a whole album, but Graduation by Kanye. Getting ready for the wedding on Saturday, we just started playing like hip hop from the 2000s, and one of the songs popped up. I was like, I forgot how good this album was, so we ended up playing that in the car, and then mostly that, but then some Sade, but mostly
Kanye Graduation was one of his better albums before he went fully crazy. What's your strongest, or not your, what's your best favorite? I don't know why I can't find this word. What's
My
your favorite
best
song from that
favorite.
album though?
Man, there's so many.
Mine's Good Life,
Champion.
T-Pain. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no,
Good Life is good. Flashing Lights
Yeah.
is good. I always loved Homecoming. I don't know. There was something about Coldplay,
Sure. Michelle, have you heard this album?
Of course I
Kanye
have.
West, Graduation.
Of course I have.
Do you have a favorite song from this album?
All of them.
Okay.
You can't go wrong
We're
with that
just
whole
having great
album.
conversations today. Everything and all
Barry Bonds.
from everybody.
To keep it on baseball, Barry Bonds. There you go.
Is that a song?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Did not know that. Well, it's very
How did
interesting.
I knew that?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never. Maybe I'll have to play
It's
it.
the
I don't
one
know.
with Lil Wayne.
Barry
You've
Bonds,
heard it.
Kanye, and Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll play it after so we don't get hit
Yeah.
with the copyright.
Please don't.
I'll let you know if I've listened to it. Nick got us hit with the copyright just the other day because he put in some computer like hold music and it was like, oh, that's a flag.
It said it was license free. They
We
got
don't
me
make
good.
money. We don't have money to pay out. All right.
They got me good. I was willing to pay. I thought I did. I don't know.
It's funny that you say that you were listening to something older because I have actually been in the same kind of routine right now. Like my playlists are literally nostalgia music 2005 to 2015, EDM 2010 to 2015, and the song that I am choosing came up on rap, hip hop, nostalgic bangers, and I've just that phenomenon where you hear or read or see something, they kind of say like when you buy a car, all of a sudden you start to see all of the other cars that are out there on the road are the same ones you bought. Well, that's what has happened with this song where I played it once and now I'm starting to hear it everywhere. But it is Roscoe Dash and Waka Flocka Flame, No Hands. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh wow.
You got me in no hands.
Yep.
I know you know the song, but it's got me hype, and I've been building shit around the house, so I've been playing that song, and I was just talking to Michelle about Cutting the Yard before you came on, and that's what the song I play. Been biking, with this weight loss, and that song just keeps popping up. So
There you
no
go.
hands. I'll probably drop it on our post here so everybody can jam out to it.
Nice. Or graduation song. Maybe both.
Yeah, probably not.
Who knows? Probably not. All right.
All right. Okay. I want to stay into music, but I want to ask Michelle our one new guest opening question. What is the most interesting thing about you that people usually don't expect?
Oh,
It's a good question.
it is. So I will say, I brought up the chirping thing. So a lot of people who know me know, but a lot of people who only kind of know me, I'm terrified of birds.
It's okay that you said that. I was going to bring it up anyways. We were going to talk about it eventually.
Yeah.
And I do think it is a very interesting thing about you. So
Yep.
I'm glad you chose this.
Yep.
Let's
it's called
dig into it a little bit.
ornithophobia.
Say it again. What's it called?
Like
that doesn't
clinical.
sound like, that doesn't sound like birds.
Well,
Orn. I don't know. I just
I'm
feel like
so glad you were-
the orna part would have been something different than.
No, birdophobia.
Yeah, birdophobia would be better. Talk to me about what age that this bird fear came into you.
As long as I can remember.
Really? Why?
I thought it was normal. I thought it was normal. Thought everybody was supposed to be afraid of birds. I thought nobody liked them. So as I got a little bit older, I had asked my parents, I'm like, why am I so afraid? And it was explained to me, I never liked wearing shoes. Now, I grew up in upstate New York, so I never liked wearing shoes. I was always running around the yard, down our driveway. Every time that I would run around the yard, there would always be grass seed that my dad had just spread out, stuck to the bottom of my feet. I would run into the driveway, and birds would swoop down, and I thought that they were coming and attacking me, I guess. And it was just something that always stuck, and I could never shake it.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So I can't touch feathers, like nothing. No feathers anytime. Now, I wouldn't say it's all birds. Ducks. Ducks are chill. Ducks are super cool. As long as I'm not touching them. But ducks are cool. All the other ones, no.
Ducks are like very aggressive and they will bite you, right?
Well, that's like swans and geese. They have teeth. They have little tiny teeth. And
You're
they just,
talking about like
they're
a little
just
tiny baby yellow
mean.
duck.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was just talking about this the other day. I think what happens is that they're so cute on the commercial where they're like, oh, we can get all the oil taken off of us. And they're so adorable and they talk to you. And then nothing else is cute like that.
Michelle's like, put them all in oil, drown all the birds. Don't rescue
all the other
oil
birds.
All the rest of them.
Finish the job,
I've
BP.
Said,
that's what Michelle is saying.
Right? That'd be great. No, I've always said they have talons and a beak of death.
It's one of my favorite things about her. Like I'll just see people getting attacked by birds on Instagram or something or Facebook. I'll send it to her. You'll see the videos of just like a woman walking, and all of a sudden the birds are like pecking at her hair. I'm like, oh, that's
crows just sweeping down.
I think you sent to me too, like the little glasses for the hummingbirds to come on top of.
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually never seen you get attacked by birds or be in any fearful bird situation with all the time we've spent together, which is, unfathomable. But what is your number one bird fear story? Do you have any? Have you had any actual bird encounters that you've been scared for your life?
Yeah. A few years ago, years ago, oh yeah. So a few years ago, my family was down. We went over to Disney and we're at Animal Kingdom. We're starting to go through. And right before we ended up going into this, like, I think we were going to see monkeys or something. There was a bird that was just perched on the top, and I stopped. And I froze, completely froze, and my mom looked around and she was like, "You have to come on, come on, come on." My dad was pushing me through the line. I was like, "I can't move anywhere." Like, I'm frozen solid. Frozen solid in the middle of Disney with, like, millions of people, it seemed, behind me. We finally get through. I was like, "I'm really sorry."
Are all these people like, what is this woman doing?
Probably. But at that point, I really didn't, like,
God.
judge me. I don't care.
I'm
Interesting.
terrified.
Hilarious.
But it's one of those fears that you can't explain.
No, spiders, snakes. I get it. Sharks, alligators, right? That all makes sense. But birds, I can't
You can't
sympathize
really
or empathize with you there.
No.
avoid them either. 'Cause
Weird.
we take nice little
They're
family
everywhere.
walks. Yeah, we take nice little family walks around Lake Eola. I push everybody else over to the side and I loop around. I'm like, "Oh no, please be my blocker."
The tagline on this reel is going to be birds. You can't avoid them. They're everywhere. Man, well, that is a great answer to an awesome question. So I appreciate you sharing that. Nick,
No
any other
problem.
questions about bird fear before we power on?
No, I feel kind of bad for you because they are everywhere. So
They are.
They are everywhere. Okay, I have a question. You used to have an idioty situation going on with your belly button. And so I say used
It's
to
cute.
because I know that the body changes. Like Callie, before she had baby, she had a sensitive belly button. So like if you pushed it, she got like a pain like in her foot or something. Like very weird. But then after she had a
Interesting.
baby, that changed. So I say you used to have an idioty situation. Do you still?
It's more any now. It's weird because, like, your belly pops out.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I shrunk, which I shrunk really fast, as soon as I shrunk, it was like, tucked right in. Like,
Can
okay.
you explain what I mean by the any outie situation?
Yes, it's mostly in and little bit
Belly button.
out.
She's talking about your belly button.
Yeah.
It's a
Insert
little
clip
in,
here
but
of
most
of
an
people
innie outie.
A lot of
Picture of
quirks
an
about me.
innie outie.
do you have any pictures of your any?
It's a weird question.
My goodness
A new
gracious.
fetish that no one knew existed.
Good
Right.
lord.
Innie outies.
Listen,
Good
if that
lord.
picture makes money, I get a
Okay, fair. OnlyFans.
The only
There we
clip
go.
to
We're
go
gonna create an
viral.
OnlyFans, and we're just gonna put a picture of her belly button, and that will be the
Innie
first.
outies.
Pay for it.
I'm in.
Just call it innie outies.
$4 a month. Subscribe.
Printing money.
All right. I'm gonna lay off Michelle for a minute. There's plenty of more of those quick hits that are gonna come her way. Let's focus now over to Nick. In the state of baseball, or I guess in the sense of baseball being dressed here, I just want to put
got
it out
poop
there
all
that
over
Nick and I
yourself.
are playing each other in fantasy baseball this week. I have lost both weeks of the season so far. We are in
Nothing's
week
gonna
3.
change.
And I am on a absolute tear right now, averaging like 3 home runs a night against Nick, and he's currently losing 11-0. Nick, how do you feel about this?
Like you said, you've lost the last 2 weeks. I'm not that worried. It's early. It's very early in the week, sir. Plenty of time.
It's very
And
nice that Mike Trout is finally hitting home runs. Really shitty that it's against the New York Yankees.
It's one slide away from the
Hey,
IL.
shut
so
your mouth.
just I'm
J-Ram
not worried about it.
finally hit a home run too, so maybe this is my coming out week.
Maybe, but Moniak is hitting multiples each game. He's going yards, so I'm not worried.
You forgot to sit him. You just told me you forgot to play him.
He's just sitting right now, so he'll probably come in and hit. But whatever.
All right, whatever.
I'm not worried.
Back to Michelle.
We'll see how it ends.
Michelle,
Fast start could go cold.
talk to me about your affinity with the New York Yankees and what that means to you,
Ooh. I mean,
and why we're better than Nick and his Boston Red Sox.
come on. Everything about the Red Sox is trash.
Don't even.
It's mass
We have
holes.
just as
Where
many
do I
championships as
begin?
you do since you've been alive. So
Ooh.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Shots fired.
Isn't it? Doesn't it suck?
But
Yeah,
see,
to
at least like,
not be relevant for so long. Doesn't it suck?
but at
She's all,
least I'm not that person that instantly is like 27 rings.
No, I know. I'm proud of you. Yeah, no. Those fans I hate, and that's why I have to learn a lot more about the Yankees than they do because
that only
oh,
worked back
27.
in the
When
90s.
did you win them? Huh?
No, I'm saying that only worked back in the 90s, like when we were getting all the rings. But you
Yeah.
can't say that now
Yeah.
because it's been almost 20 years.
Yeah.
You want to know the other
2000
sad thing about
2009 was the last
Michelle? She's a
time.
Jets fan too, so she really knows what the struggle's like.
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I had said instantly, I was like, you know what? Cole, my son, Cole does not have to be a Jets fan. Yankee fan, I get the Yankees. He gets the Dolphins though. So he's going to grow up to be, he's got to have at least one winning team. So he's got the Yankees.
Did you name
I
him after
guess.
Garrett Cole?
No,
Just say yes.
but I like that.
We can say yes.
You know, a much
Nice.
better naming story. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right. We haven't even started the episode, and this is great intro banter. I have one more thing that I participated in over the weekend, and I don't know if you guys did, but did anybody watch any of Coachella?
A little
Masters. I watched Masters. I watched golf.
We're not talking about golf.
bit. Watch the Masters.
No, we're talking about Coachella, guys.
Didn't.
So
Can't
boring
contribute.
compared.
Can't contribute.
All right. That's
I
fine.
did
Take it
see
away.
David Guetta's set, and his daughter was like right in the middle, and he got super excited to see her.
I watched
And
Guetta.
I watched a little bit of Cascade too.
I couldn't stay up, and I'm really upset that they didn't put his full set on. I watched what he posted, and I watched little clips. It looked like he
Yeah.
absolutely killed it, but that was on at like 1:00 our time.
We know I don't. I'm not
Yeah,
up
I
by
know you
then.
don't sleep. Well, I needed my sleep. I was in bed. I did watch Sabrina Carpenter. She killed it. I watched Fatboy Slim. But my biggest thing, and Nick, you probably didn't watch this, but it was Justin Bieber. Has anybody seen like the news articles or seen anything about it?
That he
I saw
just
it.
played old clips. I mean, I don't.
Well,
Yeah.
that was a part of it, but it was more of like a sit down and a reminisce, like walking us through history, because Justin Bieber was found through YouTube. You know, he was found from doing all of that and singing, putting videos out. And what he was doing was actually putting himself on and singing with his younger self. So I thought it was like a really cool tribute with all the shit that he's been through with his mental health, his anxiety, you know, the media with Diddy and all of that. This was his first time back on stage in like years at a major festival. And it was very minimalistic, and it got me thinking that I think in today's world of music and concerts, right, everything has to be big bang, flashy, loud, Michael Bay-esque, and he made it very intimate for like 70,000 people of just him and a laptop and music and singing and kind of healing. That's how I looked at it. I know a lot of people say it was dumb and lame and boring, and I wish you guys would have watched some to contribute a little bit, but
That's
why we're
kind
here
of
to
cool
watch.
though. It's almost like what was the MTV show like back in the day where they'd be in like that
Unplugged.
TRL studio? Yes, it almost like Unplugged is what it seemed like it would be,
Right.
just with
Yeah.
70,000 people.
It was that. He had a very simple round stage. Most of the time it was just him walking around dancing. He had really cool, the cinematography was really cool because he had really cool camera setups, and it was just that. He was just there with the crowd having a really good time, and it was just I've always been a Justin Bieber fan. You know, at times his music was very childish because he was so young, and then he went through all of his things in front of us when he was a teenager, and you're like, oh wow, this kid fucking sucks. But I don't know, we've seen his life kind of evolve, and it's one of the first times that we've seen a superstar, rock star, whatever, grow up while we have been a little bit older to kind of watch him grow up. Does that make sense?
Oh,
It's not like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, like, oh, we were 7, 8 years old, so, and they were older than us. He came up super young. We've watched him since he was a kid. Anyways, we're gonna move forward. I know that we're rambling, but if you watch Coachella, well, it's just me. If you watch Coachella, message me. Let's talk about it. Justin Bieber, hit me up in the DMs. So we're gonna start the actual episode, and before we get into the parenthood and the structured life and all of that, I want to take us to the way back time of when we said yes to everything, when life was easy. And obviously, we're going to talk about college. But if you're listening, I want you to think about a time in your life where yes was automatic, where life was easy. If you had that easy button, you didn't have the responsibilities, that we have now. And for us in our life, in our relationship, that was college. What do you remember about how often that we were hanging out, going out? To me, I feel like it was every day. I feel like it was nonstop. But what were your, thoughts and memories and how easy life was back then? Let's start there.
It was every day, but it wasn't even like going out anywhere. It would be like I would go over to your guy's house, or like we would just be hanging out, but it was something almost on a daily basis.
Yeah.
We weren't necessarily drinking. We were just always just, sure, let's do this. Going to the beach. There's a picture that had just recently popped up on my phone where me, you, and one of our friends, Ashley, were at the beach together. That was just a random, let's go to the beach day. So it was just a lot of random yes to everything. Yeah, but it was an everyday thing.
I mean, I love that picture because I don't know, it's really weird because Facebook says, like before this, I went onto our friendship and I clicked see our pictures. Facebook says we have no pictures, which is very strange.
And I know.
So when our friendship anniversary pops up on Facebook, it's always the same 4 or 5 pictures. But for me, it's like some of the best pictures that explain our relationship, where people who know us would see it and be like, oh yeah, that's them. Or when they pop up for us, it's like, oh yeah, those are, very clear memories that I have, as a part of our friendship.
Yeah.
And I want to blow your mind right now, because this blew my mind while I was doing some research. The very first Facebook post we have, right? It says, about time we're Facebook friends. It took me forever to remember your last name. Then I was like, oh yeah, she thinks she goes ham. And you say, the thing is I don't think I go ham. I know I go ham. Want to test that statement downtown tomorrow at 180? Yeah, I blacked out there last week. Well, let's do it again tomorrow. Ask me tomorrow and I'll most likely say yes. And that is the basis of our friendship. But here's the crazy part. August 2011. I left Orlando in May of 2012.
Really?
Our friendship in Orlando was less than a full calendar year.
Was it really?
Blew my mind.
There's no way.
Less than a year.
Because I moved here in August of 2007. Maybe I did meet you later than some of the other guys.
I didn't meet you until you were dating Philly, which would have been my junior year.
Maybe. I don't even remember. Because I met you through Sanchez.
Yeah, who was also younger.
Yeah.
Not a part of my pledge class. And it absolutely blew my mind when I think that we've been friends for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
And if you would have asked me how long we were in college together, I would have not said to you less than a year.
No.
We were together almost every
wild.
day, and it felt like years. It was 289 days.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that nuts, Nick?
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Do you have anybody like that in your life where you've been friends with them for over a decade? If somebody were to ask you how long you've been friends, or how long you were together in college, you probably would have said 3 or 4 years, but in reality, it was less than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Couple, like one of my frat brothers for sure. But yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, because after like becoming a brother, they left or something.
Yeah.
Mm.
I moved away because I got fired on
Mhm.
Cinco de Mayo, and by the end of that month, I was moved out of Orlando. It was that quick,
Uh-huh.
and I remember telling you that, hey, like I'm moving and it's gonna be in like 2 weeks, and you're just like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm moving to Tampa. I got a job there,
Yep.
and I
I
just
was not happy.
I'm
I
out.
was losing my partner in crime.
I do remember I threw the crazy idea out at you of like move with me, come to Tampa
Mhm.
and move with me. Like there's nothing left
You
here
tried
in
that even after you
Orlando.
moved.
I did. Yeah, it really blew my mind because even going back through like Facebook, one of our last posts or comments together is like May of 2012, and then it's not for like 6 or 8 months after that because I think we met up in Ultra the following year, just randomly
We
down at Ultra.
did.
Yeah.
And that's a picture that pops up of us all the time too. But I remember at that ultra, and that was my first ultra, and that was like I bought tickets the week before
Mhm.
and bought the 3-day pass. I was like, this is great. And tickets were so cheap then. And I was just like, I've got it. Let's go. I meet up with you, and I was with my old roommate Stephania, and we go down there. I'm texting with you, and then you ended up putting me into a group text. I had no cell phone service, couldn't find you anywhere, and then randomly in a set, we run into each other. I'm like, "This is great. Finally found you."
Yeah. Insane. Insane that, we didn't plan to be there. We couldn't really find each other. Cell phone service was nuts back then, and just
Terrible.
running randomly into a person when there's 80,000 people there.
Yeah, because that was Swedish House's last year,
Yeah.
and that is also the year that everybody bum rushed in and jumped the fence.
Jump the fence. Nick, you would have loved it. I was gloving big time back then, baby.
I'm sure you were rolling and gloving.
Coachella 2027. We're gonna go. Callie wants to go now to Coachella, so
The Coachella.
message me if you want to talk about Justin Bieber.
That's
Are you gonna wear a vest with fringe?
yeah. You gotta just go all out. Just Coachella fits.
No,
Yeah.
I will
Oh, you
be the
have to plan
bummest
your
looking
outfits.
person at Coachella.
You should
Well, I
just
mean, you'll
wear.
blend
Oh,
in.
Romper Daddy.
There you
That's
go.
when Romper Daddy comes out.
See,
Coachella. Romper Daddy.
Oja's gonna have to go because he's gonna be a big wrestler now, right? All the wrestlers were there. Liv Morgan, all the girls were there, and Oja's gonna have to be there. So maybe you've now talked yourself into Coachella, Nick, and we're just gonna have to all wear rompers.
If
The
we're,
You Good
if we're
podcast
doing
at
Romper
Coachella.
Daddy, I might be in. If Romper Daddy is what we're doing,
Here's what we do then. When this episode goes live, we tag the Guy Romper people. They become our sponsor. We blow this podcast up in the next year, and then we're up and coming podcasters during Coachella, and the Romper Daddy people will be like, "Oh, you'll sponsor you, and we'll pay for you to go." Boom! I just set it up.
we're gonna be influenced at Coachella. Brands are gonna send us both weeks or just one.
Just one. We don't want to go both. No,
No.
2 weekends
Well,
is too many.
that's too much. Too
Just
old
the
for that.
first one.
I'll be a year older by then. If you're wise.
I'll be a year older.
All right, we keep moving on, and I don't want to bring up our origin, right? Because we've already kind of touched base on that, but I want to just keep throwing quick stories at you that I remember to see what kind of background you have on it. Now,
Okay.
we did preface that our friendship has multiple of the same pictures, and one of them
Mhm.
is a picture of us literally being handcuffed together.
Yep.
And it's just a picture of our hands. I
With dollar
do
bills.
think, and dollar bills. And I do think it was at my house, but I don't remember what led to it. And I wanted to see if you had the backstory on that.
I don't remember what led to the handcuffs. I remember that was when American Horror Story came out, though,
Okay.
and we would all go over to your house to watch it. But I have no
Yep.
idea where the handcuffs came into play.
Mm.
Not a clue.
I vividly remember like you probably being like, "Oh, you're stuck with me all night," and then I probably said, "Oh yeah, you were stuck," and then I probably handcuffed and did we lose the keys? Is that why we never took it off, or did we just?
I have no idea. I think you may have, like, thrown the key to the other side of the room.
It all sounds very familiar.
Yeah, that
Probably
sounds pretty
drunk.
accurate.
Okay, let me ask
I
you
don't
this.
know.
Nick, what? What were you
If we
saying?
were drinking.
Alcohol.
Oh, we were definitely drinking.
Yeah, I was gonna
Were we?
say it had to be
Oh, okay.
drunk.
Beforehand, she's like, "Oh, and we weren't drinking every day." Like, yes, we were. I won't cut it off for that.
I wasn't.
It
Nick,
was college.
do you know that Sam Smith is gay?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
I did not know that
Are you-
until Michelle took me to a Sam Smith concert. Do you remember that?
I didn't take you.
That's
You was
funny.
texting me and said, "I have
That's
another ticket.
funny.
Do you wanna go?" And it's in the
Oh, I
suite.
took you? Okay. Then you know what it was? We were Orlando Magic season ticket holders, and
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
our guy gave them to us for free because we were in the box seat.
Yes.
Even better then, you're welcome. I took you to a Sam Smith concert. Do you remember that?
I think it was in the Chase Lounge too. I
Yeah,
do
it was-
remember
Yeah,
that. That was a lot of
normally-
fun.
Well, I did not know that Sam Smith was gay. And then we get to his
That's funny.
concert, and
Uh-huh.
everything is rainbows, and everything is
Mhm.
husbands and partners. And I just
Yeah.
remember, I don't know if you remember me looking at you, Michelle, and I'm just like, I was drunk having a good time. I love Sam Smith. I'm not bashing him for being gay at all, but I just had no idea. And then we get there, and his whole performance is just all around gay pride. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know this. It's
How
crazy.
I
did
think he
you
was
not
wearing a
know?
corset.
I think he
I
was
think
too.
that was one of his tours that he had, like the leather corset and like the heels and everything. Oh, he looked fantastic.
How did you not know?
I don't know. I mean, this was a long time ago.
Was that Body Shop?
He was I don't remember if that was I think it was still skinny Sam Smith.
It was definitely skinny Sam Smith, and I want to say he had just come out.
I
It's
think
funny
so.
that you got Sam Smith concert tickets and I got Travis Scott.
I didn't get Travis Scott.
Vastly different.
Orlando Magic
Vastly different.
perks. The
Oh,
perks
okay.
of
He
season
came out as
ticket
gay in
holders
2014. Our concert was 2018, so he had been gay for a while. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
for a while, dude. That's where I'm like, how do you not know? Like, if
Yeah.
it was his first song, I could be like, okay. But
But
after
at
that,
that point too, his music is so good that you're like,
who cares?
you go.
It's like
Yeah.
Elton John. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Sam Smith. I sing to his songs all
That
the
man
time.
is magic.
All right, two more. One of my favorite stories, and I don't think I've ever talked about this out loud, is when I was going through my breakup with Kelsey. Well, we were engaged, but it wasn't really a divorce. But anyways, I was going through my breakup with Kelsey. I had a wedding to go to, which was Theo's wedding, and it was I don't know, a few weeks after Kelsey and I had
Mhm.
ended, and I invited Kelsey was supposed to be my date. Obviously wasn't taken anymore. This was a fraternity brother of mine that Michelle and I were both very good friends with, and she wasn't going. So I invited her. She was free, and we went together. But then what I did, it was peak pettiness, is I would like post pictures of me and Michelle as like the next best girl or the next best fiance. I did something really petty like that. I remember with the Facebook post or the
Soft
Instagram
launches.
post.
You were soft launching.
But I mean, we weren't in a relationship, but it
No,
was
I know, but
kind
that
of
you
like
were
talking
posting
shit.
the
So
hand.
Kelsey, because I don't think Kelsey knew who she was.
Mm-mm.
Do you remember? Do you remember
Nope.
this?
I do remember that. I think that it was the future Miss.
Oh, that maybe that's it was, dude. My mom was like, "You should take that down." And I just remember being like, "Nope, she can be pissed off. If
I'm
she
not
wants to
doing
be."
it.
Was very petty. I was there for it though. I was always going to take your side.
It was a fantastic time, but that's a fun thing I like to think about. And then, I mean, I think that's it. You know, is there anything from our friendship that you want to bring up or talk about, or college? And then I guess my last question to you is, why has our relationship been able to stay this close for you, even through everything we've been through, all the shit talking, and even now realizing that our friendship was based off of, a really fun, good year that we had together? Her earpod died.
Just the one, yeah.
Yeah, remember when she said she was gonna charge everything?
Everything was charged, just the one. I think, I mean, you said before, like, we've been through a lot together. We've always kind of been there for each other with different things. I know, like, and I don't know if you've talked about this before, if you wanted to talk about it, but when your dad got into the accident and I reached out to you, like, instantly, as soon as I had heard anything, just to make sure that you were okay, that your family was okay. And you had already moved, but I needed to make sure that you were good and that you guys didn't, if there's anything that I was able to do. And, you know, that was always kind of a big thing that stuck in my mind, and to always make sure to always ask if your parents are doing good, because you never know if something like that is ever gonna, God forbid, happen again. That, like, we've always been there for each other. You know, you met my best friend growing up, which
He's my best friend now.
I still really regret introducing you guys. So Nick, it's Chris Rodriguez and Chris Martinez.
No.
Nickdo
Yeah.
is
Jeez. Now we didn't. To be fair, we didn't know he was real. We thought he was made up so Chris could have two teams. But
so Martinez joined our fantasy football league this year.
Oh, did he?
I completely forgot about that. And
Yeah.
everybody, you know, somebody that we had to do a change out, and Chris joined the league, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're just running two accounts now." And I was like, "No, I swear to God, this guy's real."
Yeah. No,
This
he's for
guy's
real. He I met Chris Martinez when I think we were 8 years old, and he's still, oh yeah, and he's still completely in my life. He lived up the street from me.
Okay.
But even now, like, I talked to him and our other friend Mike. We're in a little group text, but I just talked to them like last week or 2 weeks ago. But when I introduced the two Chris's, I knew I made a bad decision. I've never been ganged up on so badly.
It's fantastic.
It was, no, for
He's
you
my
guys,
best
yes.
friend.
We would always have group text, or we have an Instagram group going, but Michelle doesn't really say much in those things anymore. But Chris and I talk a lot more than Michelle and I have in the last few years.
I believe that.
But I see you more than I see him, so I got to stay in touch with him.
I see you more than I see him.
Nick, before we move on to kind of the next phase of life, any questions around, you know, when life was easier and just what that looked like for Michelle?
No, the ones I have don't really pertain. So
Okay.
like the ones I had written down, like we went off the rails.
Before you had kids, Michelle, when you had that unlimited time, do you think that you used it well? Is it something that you miss, or do you think that you still have the time, you just manage it in a different way now?
I still think I have the time. I just manage it differently. I don't regret anything that I ever did or didn't do. I mean, if I didn't do something, it was for a reason. Um, so I think now I can. I have a very good partner. He sits there and he'll let me know, like, I'll watch the baby, you go, have fun. Like,
Mm.
okay, great. So I'm not missing out on anything. If I do miss out on it, it's my choice. And I'm completely fine with that. Like, just the way that my life is now, I have much different priorities,
Mm.
I think is the best way to put it.
Yep. Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. And I mean, I've watched your priorities evolve. You know, like we've talked about, we've gone to baseball games with each other where Tegan was just born. We have stayed, you know, in contact in and out of relationships where we've talked to each other about what that relationship was or what happened, or, you know, how can I do this to be better in this relationship. And I think after college, like I mentioned, there was a gap in our Facebook communication, but then it was just this year I'd see you, or that year we'd go to a concert, or this year we'd go to a Magic game and catch up, or I'd go to a Magic game and I'd see you downtown just beforehand, to say hi. But I think a lot of it too, at least from my view for you, changed around COVID, where I don't know if you obviously remember this, but the kids and I came to visit, and your mom was stuck in your condo during COVID. And it was like you were a part of a food and beverage company. You worked at the convention center. That was shutting down. You were kind of up in the air on what to do with work. And that's kind of when life got real for you. And I kind of want to jump to that life now where things maybe tightened up. Things got a little bit smaller. What was it like with life slowing down during COVID that kind of taught you a lesson? One, with your mom living there for a while, but two, working in that kind of industry, during that pandemic.
Yeah, so COVID was I hate to say that it was like a blessing in disguise, because it was something terrible. Like, a lot of people went through it really, really, really terribly. But for me, it almost was a blessing in disguise. My with my family not being here, I was able to have like 9 months, just my mom and I. And we, shockingly, like, moms and daughters, they don't always get along. Never had an argument, never had anything. And we just had fun. We would still go out and we would go and do different things, even if it was just the grocery store. But I was able to take a step back and realize that life doesn't always have to be revolved around work. I can step back, and I have to remember all the different things that are going on around me, because it took all the way up until COVID for me to step back and see how blue the sky was, or like just anything. Rekindle a lot of my friendships that I ended up ultimately losing because of working so much. So during COVID, I gained a lot during COVID. Then at the end of 2020, I started to think, okay, I need to do something different. So in November of 2020, I ended up reaching out to one of my friends who owns a restaurant down in Thornton Park, and started working there. Ended up re-met my fiance. And after met him a year later, we started dating, and then a couple years after that got engaged. So if it wasn't for COVID and me being in that position to where I needed to see more than just the outside walls of the convention center at the time, I never would have been in the situation that I'm in now, the best situation of my entire life. So.
And what do you mean by re-met your fiance?
So we have a ton of mutual friends from college that I stayed friends with. He's known them from like high school and even during college too. They would come into Cavos, where I was working. So they would come into Cavos, and from what I've been told, is that he had seen me and was like, she looks very familiar. Oh, that's Michelle Ham. We met her, like, we know her from back in school. And then we just started just talking, just seeing each other, just very friendly hellos, nothing too in-depth of like, oh, well, what are you doing? Not like anything like that.
Right.
Then he started coming in more. Ended up getting a crush on him. Told one of my girlfriends, and she told him. Even though I told her, don't tell him, we got to formulate a plan. She told him. I was working that day. He stayed. All of his friends had left. He stayed at the bar, waited for me to get done, and then we went and we had a drink. I was like, okay.
I love that.
And then that same week, we started dating and never looked back.
Never looked back. No, I got a nice, beautiful 8-month-old boy.
And a
That's
nice little
awesome.
ring.
Nice. It's not a little ring. It's a big ring.
It is. It's perfect. It's perfect. And I had no idea that he was going to propose either. Complete surprise. I was baking cookies. Yep. I was baking cookies.
Just baking cookies at the house? No big thing? Just kind of popped out right there?
Yeah.
I love that.
He had gone out and he had got the ring. He knew exactly like what he wanted to get from me, had my size and everything.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
No,
Did
that's
really
awesome.
good. And it's exactly what I would have picked. And then like I said, now we have an 8-month-old.
Yeah. He's very attentive. I did get to meet him. It was awesome. It was awesome.
He's
I
fun.
want to ask you about kind of going back a little bit. You know, your life, like you mentioned, was always so hectic with work, being at the convention center, always running, you know, all of those events that were there. I remember one year we went to like Comic-Con or something with Kinsley when
MegaCon,
she was
yeah.
little, MegaCon,
Mhm.
you know, ran into you, got to see you there. That was awesome. But from your life being so much about interacting with people every day, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people at these events that you were always planning, and then being stuck in, you know, your condo with just your mom, what was it like suddenly being in a different mindset of, you know, maybe I'm alone with my own thoughts, and like you said, looking back and being like, oh, that's, you know, with the color of the sky, and making all this realization, how much of that changed how you saw yourself? I know you touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to go back to that.
I think I ended up shockingly gaining a lot of confidence in myself because I was able to really silence all of the work stuff because it was constantly like spinning in my mind. Like I was doing all the scheduling for work. So like any of the events that were coming in, I was doing all the client scheduling and I was able to finally just shut that off, which was nice. And I was able to find myself again, which I needed to do. It was that nice little
Mhm.
reset, which I think that everybody needs to have a reset like that. If you don't think that you do, you probably do, which is it's like weird to say that, but if you constantly are thinking, because that's what I did, constantly thinking like I need to do something about this, and then COVID hit, and that was the something that completely did a reset, shut my mind off from work, found myself, had tons of fun for a couple of years, and then I went back to the convention center.
I remember having those conversations with you during that time
Mhm.
where it was like, well, why are you still doing this? And why are you still doing that? And if this situation isn't the best situation for you, you know, like, why are you still in it? And I guess it took you until COVID, like you said, to finally sit down and be like, hey, I need to change these and be more impactful. And I
Uh-huh.
love that story. You know, Nick, do you, obviously you remember COVID, but do you have any stories like that where you were able to sit back during COVID, you know, think about your mental health and sit back and evaluate life because you were tied into those areas?
No, I wish I make guns, so I was deemed a
Essential employee?
vital or essential worker, so I
Yep.
never had any time off. If anything, I was busy all the time. I mean, but you are right. Like, if you do think all the time, you do need a reset.
Mhm.
So I'll go on like 10-day vacations to New York and stuff like that to just get away and make it a point. We're not thinking about work on these trips and things like that. So definitely can relate on that aspect, but not necessarily during COVID.
It really intrigues me that you were an essential employee. You don't make guns for military.
No, but yes, if that makes sense. Like
It doesn't.
at the time I was making the parts for people that had military contracts. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
So
Plus it's defense anyway.
so it doesn't matter if it was for military or not. You were still
Yeah.
producing it and still working, and they treated you like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Had a letter and everything just in case I got pulled over.
That's kinda crazy.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
I know that Michelle's the guest, but I kinda wanna sit here for a minute because I've actually never, aside from, like, Candace, you know, who was a doctor, I've never really had a conversation with somebody that was an essential employee that wasn't, you know, a cop or a firefighter or a
Yeah.
doctor,
Yeah.
and I guess what was COVID like for you then having to maneuver and regulate all of those, hey, get to work. And like you said, having to have a proof that I'm allowed to be out right now.
It was that and managing people, because if they got sick, it was get tested. And then if they tested positive, you can't come in until you test negative.
Mhm.
And so then you lose half your workforce and you still have to produce. And that got challenging because you're losing your workforce for a week, 10 days. Like it wasn't 2-3 days like a normal thing. They were still testing positive 2 weeks after showing symptoms, and you're like, how the hell am I supposed to run this? I guess I'm doing it all myself. But surprisingly, I didn't get sick. I got sick at the end of 19, like November, like
Yeah.
when nobody knew what it was. And I remember vividly being sick for like 3-4 days and then not being able to like get rid of a cough for like a week. But during like the peak of it,
Yeah.
I had no issues and actually ended up going to New York because for a wedding in the middle of COVID.
Wild.
You
Wild.
were
Yeah.
allowed in? That's the only reason that we didn't go back. That's why my poor mom was just she was trapped
I had
because we
well,
You couldn't go back.
couldn't hop.
I I had a COVID vaccine. I had
Oh,
proof
cut
that I
that,
The
was
cut that, cut
vaccinated,
that,
but
cut that.
Oh, okay.
but may or may not have been vaccinated. You know,
Allegedly. Say allegedly.
those are I
Allegedly.
mean, I may or may not have. I'm not gonna for this. Maybe I was, but
Allegedly, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to lose my co-host.
fuck them.
Oh God. Oh God. Well, I definitely want to come back to this at some point, Nick. When it's not a guest episode, I'm
Yeah,
very
yeah.
intrigued. I'm very
It's
intrigued.
fine.
But any other questions for Michelle? Kind of during the second phase of her life, where we talk about, that transition from college to getting real, refining yourself, and especially when there's a global pandemic and having to adapt and be stronger through that.
So I guess we never really touched on like what happened with your mom got stuck here, and that's how she wasn't able to go back. And
Yeah.
oh wow, that's wild.
Yeah. So my family was down in January, and my mom had stayed because like I said, I was at the convention center and we had another big show. It was a big medical show that was coming in, and I had a
Okay.
puppy at the time. Well, I'll stay down, and my dad had to fly to a conference out in Vegas. So my brother and sister-in-law, they flew back home, I think right after Super Bowl. My dad had flown back to New York and then flew out to Vegas, and then ended up flying back to New York. As soon as they landed, hey, everybody that's on this plane has to be quarantined for 2 weeks. So told my mom, and she was like, well, I don't know. I don't know what that means. So nobody knew what anything meant.
Right.
So she was just staying to help me out with my dog. And then March came around and it was like, okay, well, what do we do? And then March 16th happened, and that's when everything shut down. It was
Hmm.
like, Mom, I don't know what's going on. Like I was still working. Um, Nothing had been dwindled back yet. So I couldn't just get up and leave because
Mhm.
neither my mom or I had any kind of effects to us. And then finally work dwindled and everything started canceling. And I finally just looked at her. I was like, something big is going on. My dad had heard all the same information. My sister-in-law is a doctor, so she was kind of getting information as it was coming to
Mm.
her also. And she was giving us whatever information she was able to give on. But we just thought that it was best to just stay here, especially because they said about all of the states being boarded off, and
Right.
Westchester County was the epicenter, and my county where I grew up is only 2 counties north. So, like, I grew up in Ulster County. So
Okay.
it was you have to drive through Westchester in order to get to it. And we didn't want to take any chances because it was so elevated that okay, well, it's the flu, but it's a really bad flu. And if anybody catches this flu, then you don't know what's going to
Oh
happen.
yeah.
So we didn't want to take any kind of chance. So we just kept staying, waiting for the word about, yes, you can travel. And September came around and it was like, I have my return receipt. And yes, my parents know that I call it this. I have my return receipt. I'm going to bring mom home. So
I love you, but go back.
yep. So we drove back up in September of 2020, after she had gotten down here essentially in January, just on a family vacation,
Wow.
and then went back in September and saw the rest of my family. We found out during COVID also that my brother and sister-in-law were pregnant with my nephew. So she missed finding that out in person. We had to sneak
Mhm.
a FaceTime in with that one. And then I think it was a couple of weeks after she found that out, that's when we got in the car and we were like, we don't care about rules. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's
Hell yeah. Just like
that's
Florida.
wild.
We opened up in
What?
May. We were like, don't worry about us.
Yep.
For the free
Yep.
state. The free state of Florida.
Free
And
state of Florida.
I think that that's a little bit why we wanted to stay down here too, because it was so closed down everywhere else. And down here it
Mhm.
was, no, you can go to the grocery store. Like you can go to Marshall's. Like you can
Mhm.
go to all these different, and it was a nice way to escape the four walls of your house too.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think if you were anywhere else, it would have been very difficult. It would have been really, it would have been like you stir crazy. You would have went stir crazy.
Yeah. No.
Crazy
I can't
stuff.
imagine.
We had
COVID
fun
was,
though.
I don't want to say that COVID was easy for me, but I worked at a job where they were just like, go home and work. And I was working remote anyways before that. So I just stayed at home and, whatever. Went
Mm.
out to the beach sometimes, got yelled at, but it was good.
Just another day. COVID was just less people on the road.
That's right. Oh, it was
A
beautiful.
lot
It was so
less.
beautiful. There's no traffic. I remember driving home during COVID, and it was like the only time where driving back to Deltona only took 2 hours instead of 4. And I was
That
like,
Oh
was
yeah.
I would go up to
really gonna miss this.
Jacksonville. I would go up to Jacksonville and it would, instead of 2 hours, it would take an hour and a half or an hour and 15 minutes. I'm like,
Mhm.
this is amazing.
It's great. This is what a great reset would look like if the
Yeah.
Linux made it.
Thanos, snap those fingers.
Oh, well, I appreciate you sharing that. And I think the segment of that was for people to think about, what's changed for them that they rarely talk about. And you probably don't talk about COVID a lot. Those days are behind you, 6 years past, but sharing that and once life changes, like that, you start looking at it in a different lens. You start looking at yourself in a different lens. But I think also you start looking at your network. And Nick and I have talked about this before, where the older you get, you're choosing the people that stay in your life, you're choosing the relationships that are important. And when you go from college, I remember Michelle Ham in college, where everybody knew. It was, you'd go to this bar and this bartender knew her, you go to this bar and this pocket of the corner knew her, and everywhere, oh, Ham. And even the other day when we went to Cavo's, Michelle walks in and somebody starts yelling her name. It's everywhere you go, people knew Michelle. And I guess for this last segment, I want people to think about who actually has access to your time now. Who still fits in your life with
Mm.
relationships and kids and fiancés and new jobs and this and that, everything that people go through. We have talked about this a ton, where people just fade, and maybe nothing happened. Maybe there was no bad blood or anything, and they're just not somebody that is a high priority in your list of priorities, and they've kind of essentially fallen to an acquaintance. For you, Michelle, you mentioned meeting your fiance and having your baby, and a lot of that has been growth for you. With the parenthood shift, what changed, for you immediately once you found out you were becoming a parent?
Definitely my priorities. And it's weird, like you're on social media, which could be the best thing or the worst thing, depending on like what you're looking at. But everything on social media, like all during my pregnancy, had always said, like, you're going to find out who your real friends are, like during pregnancy and after you have a child. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm still going to keep a lot of my friends, all these people. I'm still going to like do everything that I always had been doing. Wrong, wrong. It was almost like not everybody, but some people kind of walk around pregnancies like on eggshells. They don't
Mm.
know how to treat somebody, and, like,
Who's
I just
pregnant,
In
yeah,
what way?
not inviting them out.
yeah, like, I would always be invited out, but I would be so tired that I wouldn't make it past, like, 9 o'clock. But I was always very grateful for the invite, and then after I would deny the invite so many times, then I wasn't seeing the invite always.
Mm.
Now I so, like, my best girlfriend is in Jacksonville. I talk to her all the time. I see her as often as I possibly can. She would still always call me and say like, "Hey, we're going to do this. Like, what are you doing? Can you come up for the weekend? Can we do this?" And she understood why I had to say no on a lot of different things. One of my other girlfriends in Orlando, Jackie, she still always invites me to different places. And I'm so thankful for that. She just a couple weekends ago, she was like, "Can you escape for the day?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Oh, okay." A couple of days ago, she texted me, "Hey, I'm going to a wine tasting in 2 hours. Can you go?" I'm like, "Do you remember that I had a child?" I, like, had to kind of bring her down to earth a little bit. Um, but it's those friendships that I really, really cherish. I've been friends with Jackie longer than I've been friends with you, but she's somebody that's always been consistent in my life as well, and I've been very, very thankful for that. But she understands my priorities. She doesn't get upset about it at all because she knows that being a mom is something that I've always wanted to do, and she knew that once that day happened, my priorities were definitely going to shift. Even, like, my fiancé still, "Hey, what do you wanna do tonight?"
Mm.
Even if it's, like even if we bring Cole with us, it's always, like, we're doing something still, and it's I don't know, it's weird. It's weird for, like, a woman to describe it to a male. Like, the feeling of
Don't
having
be
some people walk
sexist.
around eggshells.
Don't be
No, it
sexist.
is, it's weird.
That's why we're here to
It's
talk about
interesting.
break that stigma, Michelle.
Yeah.
Talk to us. We're here.
To-
But no, it is, it was challenging at first because even after giving birth, like, you you st I chose to not take my son to public places within the first 2 months. We would take him up to one of the nurseries, like one of the garden nurseries. We would go up there all the time, take him over to a park just to go walk around the neighborhood for him to be exposed, to the outside world instead of only seeing just my face constantly.
Mm.
Now he saw my face and trees or whatever he was able to see at the time.
He's got great
So in
vision for a
that
baby.
you're right. Better vision than me. But, no, we had a good handful of people that would come over to the house and see how we were doing, which was very nice, and I got a lot of text messages afterward, after I gave birth to, a lot more than what I had seen, like, early on in my pregnancy.
Do you so let me I don't mean to cut you off, but I wanna ask, do you resent that? Because you've said it a few times, but you kinda walked yourself through it to where the more pregnant you get, right, people know that. So I don't
Mhm.
think that they're alienating pregnant people, but I think it gets to a point where, you're 5, 6, 7, 8 months down the line, and there's not really a reason to invite you, and I understand what you're saying about the sentiment. Hey, it's really nice that you're inviting me even though I
Mhm.
can't commit to this. So do you hold it as resentment or do you look at it as like, okay, people know for these 3 or 4 months I can't do anything, but maybe they're gonna come back around when the baby's out and now, I'm starting to get back into a normal routine and normal life. Are you laughing because I said baby's out?
Yeah.
That's what happens. Baby comes out. But But that's my question.
Or is here. God
Yeah.
No, I don't have any resentment. I don't have any resentment towards anybody because I know I may have done the same thing and I didn't realize it. So a lot of people didn't they probably don't realize or didn't realize because it might be something new to people. Like I could have had a couple of friends who had never been around that before. They're like, well, I don't know how to act. Like I'm still me. I'm now two people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's true. I don't think a lot of people who haven't been pregnant, think about what moms have to go through because there is 6 or 7 months of your life where you have to dedicate it to the baby, and that's,
Mhm.
right before birth, a few months right before, and then the few months right after where it's just you, and people talk about, "Well, just bring the baby here and bring the baby there." Well, you're right.
It's hard.
For the first 3 or 4 months, you can't do that. Like, you just
Uh-uh.
can't do that, especially in today's world with how sick everybody gets. But it's not even just like the sickness thing. It's the baby poops all the time. For you, the baby has to breastfeed or whatever
Mhm.
it might be. And there's so many challenging things where it's a little bit different for males because a lot of the times we don't go through that. We may be strong for our partner and be somebody that's there, but not every male is like that. And maybe when they have a baby, they're like, "All right, I'm good. My wife had the baby, now I'm going out." But it's completely different for a woman, completely different for a mother who has to maintain 6, 7 straight 8 months, if everything doesn't go well, of just being with this infant and
Mhm.
making sure that they stay alive, quite frankly.
Yeah. Like your whole world literally revolves
Yeah,
around a very small human.
yeah. Well let me ask you this, and I know Nick can relate to this, and Nick, I'll get your kind of views here on long distance, but you and your family, Michelle, are very close. I know the
Mhm.
relationship that you guys have. Talk to me about the distance and not even just COVID in particular, but what drew you to Florida? Why haven't you gone back to New York? Like right now, I know you have a fiance and you have a baby, but there was a big gap of so many times that you could have just moved home. What's kept you here, and what's been the hardest part about not having your family close, whether that was going through college, the years after college, or even now, not having that family close to help with a newborn, right? I don't know what I
Mhm.
would do if my parents weren't 2 hours away, if Callie's parents weren't 4 hours away, to where we have that help and they're not thousands of miles away. What does that look like for you?
So it's it's hard. There are a lot of times that it is hard. But and like you said, like I'm very, very, very close with them. I talk to them every day, call them on my way home from work every single day. And then when I don't, I get yelled at. But we are very close. It's it's difficult. It's very difficult at times because I'm asking a lot of different questions like over the phone. I have Cody's parents down here that I go and I can ask them questions in person. But I remember I talked to my sister-in-law about this and when she was down earlier in the year and she was kind of describing it to me. She had said, your mom helps me out with so many different things, but there's nothing like having your mom there.
Mm.
100%.
And it's true because you do like we have we have our little community that's like right around us and they're there to help. They're there to lend advice, but there's nothing like getting that from your mom. Um, I've been very lucky though that, my parents are able to come down. Like Cole and I flew up in November right before Thanksgiving. So he got his first class ticket at 3 months old. I was 38, so that was great. But
I don't know
no,
if I've gotten a first class ticket yet.
right? Right?
It's fun.
Like privilege, privilege. But no, so they were down in August. My mom was down here for the first whole month, um, which was very helpful. She was able to help us with different things and like help us try to acclimate. But she's very good about like keeping her distance when I didn't think I needed anything, and I wanted to make sure that I was in a routine. Um, And then my dad was down as well. My brother and sister-in-law and my nephew, they came down about a month and a half later. And then we were up in November. I saw them again in at the end of January. They were just here a month ago. We are flying up next week, so we're able to see everybody. Um, so that's the good and bad about being far away. Now, what kept me down here is it doesn't snow. I mean, it usually doesn't get below 40, except for those freak times like this year. But no, I wouldn't move back to New York.
So just strictly just the weather?
There's more for me down here. I have very good friendships down here, and that's ultimately what kept me down here too. I planned
Okay.
to move back home after I graduated. I kept my New York driver's license and everything. And then I had a bunch of girlfriends that I worked with at a restaurant over on I Drive. They all convinced me, like, don't move, don't move. I was like, okay. A month later, I got my Florida driver's license, and that's when I decided I have really good friends down here, and I'm okay with being away from my family. I'll see them all the time, so I was able to go home for every holiday. Random long weekends, I was able to go home for, and everybody thought that I was nuts by not wanting to go back to New York, but I I grew up there. Like it's always going to be home, but now I can go there whenever I want to.
Yeah.
You
And
can always visit.
it's
Yeah,
not like you're from like New York City, uptown, small town.
right.
So if you go there, you're probably locked in, and you're not visiting all the fun spots. But Nick, and in turn, I know that you go to the city a lot. You have a relationship of distance that's in New York. So can you have the same sentiment as Michelle? What's it like to have that distance in between to hold a relationship?
I mean, you have to talk every day, but I personally, it's been great because our communication, because that's all we have. We have to communicate well, or it's not gonna work. So that's been great. And then when we're together, it's amazing. So everything's moving along. I mean, to where one of us will end up moving. I'm really pushing for her to come down because I'm the same. I'm good with not having
Oh,
snow in my life. We can visit. I don't want to shovel a car out of snow.
no.
I saw it being done. I'm good. Absolutely not.
It turns
They
into
were going
slush.
out at like 3 in the morning, like
Mhm.
just to start it, and then
Mm.
they went back out when it was done, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I no. I
And then if you have a
If I can
dog and the
avoid it,
dog needs to go
sorry.
and take a walk,
I will. Right. The again, it's a little different in the city because there's no grass. So even that is, I would never have a dog in the city.
yeah.
Like it's not fair to the dog, like
I
at
hate
all.
when I see people that have, especially large dogs, and they live in like San Francisco or something. You're just like, this is not a life for a dog. This
Uh-uh.
400
I
square
don't
foot
know if you've been up
apartment.
to New York, the city lately. There's dog shit everywhere.
Callie and I went to New York for our baby moon just recently, and I was kind of disgusted to be back there. I did not like Times Square.
The city is not great.
I
The
mean,
city is not
I'm not
great.
gonna lie. I would prefer to not go to the city, but I had it at my disposal all the time. Like as soon as
Hmm.
we were old enough to go on the train to go down to the city, we did.
Right.
It was only $18 at the time too, round trip.
That's great. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's great to visit. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
just like when I'm there and even my extended stays there, I'm like, this is fun, but I don't know
Uh-huh.
if I could do this year in and year out. I don't know. I need the sun
Yep.
and golf. I didn't know how hard it is to golf up there. It's frozen
Oh
six
yeah, no,
months out of the year. You
my dad and
can't.
my brother play up till November.
Yeah. And then they can't
In the snow?
until spring.
It'd
That's
be freezing
crazy.
cold out, but they still play.
I played down here. It was 39, and that was I was like, this is like hitting rocks. I couldn't imagine snow.
That's yeah.
Nope.
I feel like it would hurt your hands so much. Cold hands on a cold rod. I can't play baseball when it's cold because that sting sucks. I couldn't imagine golf.
It does suck.
Yeah.
But it forces you to hit the ball pure in baseball and softball.
I have a few more questions, but Nick, I wanted to see, before we kind of wrap this up, if there were anything, any questions you had for Michelle where we talk about, life now being hectic, distance, close circle of friends, whatever it might be.
I mean, because I have my parents here, I guess what's the hardest part about having your family so far away?
Just being able to say, "Hey, I'm coming over,"
Mm,
or to hear like, "Hey, we're coming over." Like, okay, I would love to be able to do that, but I mean, the
yeah.
reality is I can't. I chose to live in a different state. I made that choice 18 and a half years ago. Been down here a long time.
Wow.
I made that choice 18 and a half years ago, and I don't regret making that
Mm,
decision.
Yeah.
yeah,
I love that. It's hard.
absolutely.
I could never. I mean, one day I plan to move out of Florida, and I know my mom will hate me. And she's even said,
She will.
wherever you move, I'm going to sell my house and I'm going to move to wherever you're at. And I said, all right, well, but
My
I'll be your
mom's
neighbor.
threatening to move. My
your mom's
mom's been
threatening.
trying to move out. Yeah, move out of Florida. She hates the heat. So
Yeah.
I'm like, go, you'll be back because that snow is not it's just different.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, it's going to be fine." I'm like, "Live in it. Wait till you live in it and then tell me it's going to be fine." So,
Yeah.
I'm like, "She'll be back."
Yeah, in a
All right.
heartbeat.
So we've covered a lot, and it's been a great episode. It's been a great conversation, and I think I kind of want to wrap things up with a few questions. So the first one is the life that you've built, the era that you're in now. What does a good life actually look like to you now, compared to maybe something that you were experiencing or thinking about before?
I mean, a happy, healthy family. The 3 of us are it's the 3 of us. It's the 3 of us against the world, really. So, like,
Against the
he
world, man.
obviously.
You guys
Oh,
are
yeah.
getting back
Hell
against
yeah.
it, against the
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the way
Oh,
it
no,
is.
we're thick as thieves over here.
She's got her
No.
pirate ship. It's good.
Yeah. No, and we do, like, Cody has his family down here, and he's very close with his family. I have my family in New York, I'm very close with them, but at the end of the day, it's always the 3 of us. We know
Yeah.
we know what happens. We are constantly there for our son, and that, like, I wouldn't trade that for anything. Not
Yeah.
for all the tea in China.
It's a lot of tea.
That is a lot of tea.
So if your time is limited and your family is number one, what actually makes someone worth keeping in your life in this stage? You mentioned that myself and some others have been through it all. What makes extending yourself to keep those relationships pertinent?
The consistency of people. Like, just always,
Mhm.
no matter what, just, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, how are you?" Just a very simple thing. It doesn't even have to say hello, just, "I was thinking about you. Hey, this picture popped up. Hey,
Mhm.
this happened, this happened."
Yeah.
Just those little things to where you know that you don't have to actually, like, say hello, and then you can get into a 2-hour conversation.
I remember we used to like yell at each other. It's been 3 months since you texted me. It's been 4 months
Uh-huh.
since you texted me. And now sometimes I'll look at our text and like, man, it's been like 6 months since I messaged Michelle. Let me just do it. But you were pregnant, you were having this baby, it came out, and now here we are, having
It
more
came out.
conversation again.
Well, that's why,
Just
like,
it's coming.
it was crazy when we met up on Easter weekend, and
Yeah.
we were like, "When was the last time that we saw each other in person?" And it was right after Tegan was born.
Yeah. About 3 years.
It
About
was
three
just
Oh
years.
wow.
wild.
which I think in
Absolutely
our
wild.
15 years of knowing each other, that's the longest stretch that we
I
had
think
ever
so.
gone without seeing each other.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
are you ready for
wild.
this burning question?
Bring
What
it
does
on.
Lion King mean to you?
Was it 3D or was it the live? It was 3D, wasn't it, that we went to? Or was it the live version? Or did we do both?
I think we went to both.
At Waterford.
Yes. Yes. But you didn't answer the question. Now you're just giggling. Nick's
Yeah,
like, what the fuck is this girl laughing about Lion King for?
love The Lion King. Obviously, like, Chris and I went to go see it. That was fun. That was fun. My son was also born to The Circle of Life,
The literal song?
the literal
Nice.
song. Yeah. We were in the delivery room and Cody had turned on TV just to kind of get my mind off of things and get my mind off of pain. And it started with A Bug's Life. We watched A Bug's Life. That was great. And then Mufasa came on. And that's when things like started amping up. The end credits to Mufasa is The Circle of Life.
Yeah.
And Cole was born during the end credits because he was born at 11:28 p.m. and the movie ended at 11:30 p.m.
That's awesome.
That
Yep.
is awesome. The whole time, or not the whole time, well, when I just found out this information the other week when you told me, but I was thinking like somebody played Spotify or something and you chose to
No,
play.
we wanted to. So we were joking. We were like, all right, so we had it playing out in our minds, like, whenever we have people that come into the hospital to visit us and like to see the baby, I'm gonna hold him up and then Cody's gonna play it in the background. And I was like, this is a way better. He was born to it. Like, that's
Yeah.
way better story than I introduced my son. Here you go. Here's tiny Simba. Yep. So
But
he
then
was
you
born
did
to it.
go to, where did you go? Where did you take the picture at? Disney, right? Disney?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Of-
And I held him
with-
up because it was the flower festival at Epcot.
right next to Rafiki.
Yep. Holding
No, I
up
love
Simba.
that. Keep it
And here's
going.
Michelle holding up Cole.
Lion King's the best. Lion King's the best.
Yeah.
All right, my last question is, a lot of the times, I don't know if you remember this, but we used to say, I hate you means I love you.
Yes.
I think that out of all the conversation that we've had, that puts together our friendship the most. Where do you see that line as meaning to why we're still here, why we're still friends, why we have the relationship that we do? And how did you view, I hate you means I love you back then and even now?
Ooh, that's a deep thought question.
Yeah, I'm getting real good at this.
Yeah. 43 episodes in.
I am so happy you know the episode number that you're on. So thank you for that.
It was always one of those. Maybe we just didn't want everybody to be jealous of our friendship, and we just wanted to make it seem like they're not really that good of friends. We wanted to make it seem that way, but deep down, we were like, we don't hate each other. I don't know. I think it was always just a thing that we did, which is weird thinking about it, but
When we were out, we would
yeah.
be the meanest people to each other. And people would I feel like people would be like, what? But then we'd take the nicest pictures and then all of a sudden, we're hanging out and people are just like, what is going on? What is this?
And then everybody be hanging out the next day and they'd be like, I thought that you guys just were arguing last night. You're like, we're like an old married couple.
We're
Oh,
besties.
Yeah.
Lord. All right, give me your
I
last
hate
words.
that I
then.
love you.
Give me, I typically to end the episode, I always ask the guest, give me your not your last words, but kind of your closing statement to the listeners, your episode, to the theme, or if it's out of left field, what's the last thing you want to leave us with? I
would just tell everybody, don't lose yourself. Like, keep a hold of yourself no matter what's going on. Just constantly have in your mind, like, you should always be your number one priority. Make sure that you do reset every now and then even if you don't think that you need to, but it's going to be the healthiest thing for you.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
I agree
And what's a
wholeheartedly.
story that your parents don't know about?
What do you mean?
What's a story that your parents
Just
don't know
any
about?
story?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you tell
I
them
don't
everything?
know.
They don't know any. There's no story they don't know about.
Almost everything.
Man, I really wish Red's episode would have clipped because that was one of the funniest stories that we've shared. You have no idea
Yeah,
what
I
I'm talking
think.
about, Michelle. Nobody has any idea what I'm talking about except for me and Nick. But
Yeah,
I was trying
almost
to
everything.
They will
banter to
one
give you
day.
more. I was trying to banter to give you more time. So no last interesting story that your parents don't know about.
They know
Mhm.
everything.
For
He
the
talks
most
to them
part,
every day.
All right, if you come on
very
if you come
comfortable
onto
with
the
them.
show next, have a bad relationship with your parents. That's fine.
Oh my
Have a
God.
bad relationship. That's
What's the name of
terrible.
that
We need a better
episode
answer to
gonna
that
be?
question. Parents know everything. No, I'm just
The
kidding. I love
darkest
your dad.
episode yet.
Nick, any last words for Michelle?
Oh, no, it was a pleasure having you on. It's always fun getting a glimpse into Chris's college years and then after when I was not around. So it's always fun.
Well,
When
thank
I was
you.
not
Yeah, it was
around.
really nice meeting you.
Absolutely. Likewise.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, I was going to ask you what's your favorite story then about our relationship, but the one that I always love to look at is it must have been my 22nd birthday and we went downtown on a bus with a bunch of costumes. I think you were in like a clown suit or
I
something,
was a clown.
and I think I was like Jesus or something, I don't know.
I don't even
But
remember.
the camera roll, I think there's an album on Facebook where it's just me taking pictures, getting super drunk, and then all of a sudden it's just like me smacking you in the face. And I think there's another picture out there of like me like carrying you, probably about to drop you. But that album pops up and it pops up in our memories, and that's one of my favorite memories, favorite stories with you. How about this? What's your favorite story from us?
Do you remember one of the first nights that we had met? We were at library, and you battled me to a dance off at the bar. I think we were like shuffling or something. Do you remember that?
I don't, but that sounds
I
awesome.
I have a video somewhere in the archive,
Okay.
but we were at Night Library.
Is it when I'm doing the belt dance? Do you remember the belt dance?
I think you were doing the belt dance at the time.
I think that video popped up on my Facebook, but I don't think it was Night Library. I think it might have been somewhere else. Unless you're thinking about the night that I wore like the pink shirt or something, and you also had the red shirt. That was a completely different night. I don't know. Do you remember when we got
I don't
tattoo on my
remember.
neck?
The skull and crossbones tattoo.
There you go.
That was at Wall Street.
Yeah, downtown
Yeah.
Orlando. I do remember that. All right. We've chopped it up enough. I love you so much. I
Love you.
appreciate you being here. I appreciate the conversation that we've had. It was amazing to meet your son, to meet your fiance for the first time, and I look forward to our continued relationship and everything that you have been and will be as a part of my life. So thank you for your time.
Thank you guys very, very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
No
Absolutely.
problem.
So if any part of today's episode hit home, please share it with a friend. Tag us at CrodsPod on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok at CrodsPod and help us keep these conversations going. We drop new episodes every Thursday morning. If you have a story, a topic, or you just need to vent, please email us at crodspod@gmail.com. That is CRODSPOD. We want to hear from you. Our safe space is your outlet. And until next time, live fast, eat ass, or keep what actually matters in your life.